Okay, welcome back everybody. In this video tutorial I will be taking a look at the Loft feature we can find in Autodesk Inventor. And when you take a look at what I have in front of you, you should be seeing something very similar to what you'd be receiving in Activity 2.1.5 CAD model features, in which we're going to go out and start using the Loft feature found within Autodesk Inventor. Taking a look over at the actual assignment packet that PLTW provides for us, it's simply just having you select 3 different sketches in order to loft a feature. Alright, and when we jump back over and look at Inventor, okay, we can see, we can see that PLTW has gone out and created this IPT in which they have given us 3 different sketches found on 3 different work planes in which we will loft. Okay, let's go ahead and let's just do that now. I'll show you real quick. Alright, so we can come out here and use Loft. Okay, we can select our first section. It recognizes that. We can now say click to add and select our second, and then click to add one more time to select our third. Okay, and in doing so we can see how Inventor has gone out there and morphed those shapes together, as well as given it a path to extrude it. Okay, and we can see how it has given us a lofted feature. Alright, that works great, pretty easy to use, but there's a lot of setup there that you have not seen, and that's why I'm showing you in this Inventor tutorial how to go about and create that. So let's go out here and let's just create a part, and let's say that we want to transition a shape going from a circle shape over to a square shape and maybe into a hexagon shape. Alright, so we've gone out there and we've created our first sketch, which is a circle. Now I'm going to come out here and go to my origin and turn on my XY plane, turn the visibility on. And I'm going to go ahead and just simply grab that plane, drag and drop that distance over of -2, and accept that, and then we'll do it one more time, go a negative distance of 2, and say okay, now I have 2 different work planes I can work with 3 total. And we can now come in here and say create a 2D sketch on this work plane. We can go ahead now and project our geometry, and we can now come out here and create that square that we were talking about earlier, just like so. We can go ahead and finish the sketch, and now you can see that we have that square we can use. And we can come once again and come out here, create our third sketch on that guy, and we can come out here and use this to create our hexagon. And in this case it's going to be up, and I don't think it's given us, we'll go ahead and project geometry through on that, and let's get our third shape. We'll make our hexagon. So there we go. Finish that sketch. So we can all see that they all have about the same height for all 3 of those shapes. So let's go ahead and let's just perform a loft, and we will select this as my first section, and we can now come in here and select this shape as my second, and then come in here and select that shape as my third, and say OK. And we can now see how we have transformed from a circular shape to a square shape, and finally into our hexagonal shape there at the very end. Alright, so we can transition that over. Okay, now that's complete. One of the final things I would recommend that you do, which is almost essential, is, in order to get that part, you'd have to come out here and go ahead and begin turning the visibility off on all those work planes that are not being used or that you're done using. That way it won't be coming over into your IEM, whatever. Alright, so yeah, you can see how we can simply morph a shape across different profiles to get what you're really looking for. You've seen that in this part that I've just created, as well as you saw this in the example that PLTW is wanting us to use. Okay, but the third thing I'm going to go ahead and talk about, and I'm going to go ahead and use an actual picture. This is a part off of a reverse engineering or product disassembly project that we were working on. This is actually the nose cone or the end of a race car. Loft can really help us in the fact that it can cut out a lot of steps. Okay, and if we were to think about this part, we could simply go out there and create this as a block with a slot that's been cut out of it, and then do 2 or 3 different extrusions to give us that tapered edge. And what I would like to go ahead and just demonstrate to you is how we could quickly go out and use this Loft feature to our advantage. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and create the base of this and go ahead and extrude that forward to the distance that I need. In this case, I'll say it's 0.125. And then I can come in here and say create a sketch on that. And it pulls that geometry edge forward. We can go ahead and finish with that. And then I can come out here and pull this forward and say we want to create our work plane at a distance of, I don't know, 1.75. And accept that. And once we have our work plane there, we can go ahead and create a sketch right here. And I'm going to just go ahead and save some time and say that this is the rectangle on the end and it's centered perfectly. I'm just going to go ahead and eyeball it and just say finish the sketch. So all we'd have to do in this case in order to make that nose cone would be to use that as a sketch, click to add, and we can now use that as a sketch and say OK. And then just that quickly we have lofted those two profiles together. And this is the case, you know, in the end when you can come out here and do our bisector work plane and sketch on that. And we can go ahead and project geometry through. And we could slice graphics back to where we need, and we can go out there and cut out our slot. And we could go ahead and just simply extrude that profile, do a cut through all, and say OK. Uh-oh, looks like I did something wrong here. Cut all, both directions. There we go. Now we got that fixed. So as you can see, we can do that a lot quicker than if we were to go out and do multiple extrusions to get those tapered edges that we want. Once again, we can now, since we're done with that, turn off all those work planes that we're not currently using, as well as any sketches that are unconsumed, and you have your part. So hopefully this clarifies a little bit more than what PLTW has provided for us. You know, a lot of these cases they're going to be giving us IPTs, which currently, you know, has sketches and work planes for us to use. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of guidance of what you have to do to set some things up in order to use that loft feature. So there you go.